Elon Musk's son says, Jesus told me to pray for her. The words echoed louder than thunder, not from a preacher, but from a barefoot 5-year-old. It started with a whisper, not from the wind, not from a voice, but from something sacred, something that stopped Elon mid-sentence, coffee still steaming in hand. X stood there in the garden, staring at the sky like it spoke back. Daddy, he said, Jesus told me to pray for a girl named Taylor. Elon blinked. Taylor, he asked. Taylor Swift. X replied, calm, certain, like he hadn't imagined it, but received it. That morning had started like any other. Until now. Before we continue, we'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. He wasn't just playing. He wasn't pretending. Elon had heard stories of children seeing things, but never this direct, never this clear. He took a step closer. What did Jesus say? Elon asked, half joking, half afraid. X looked at him, wide-eyed, still unwavering. He said she's scared, and she's praying too, but no one hears her. Elon's heart skipped. This wasn't the usual bedtime nonsense. There was gravity in his son's voice, a pull, like the truth had landed in his garden. Taylor Swift? Elon had met her once. Polite, confident, but praying? Afraid? No, not the pop queen of the century. But something about this felt real. And then, X did something Elon never expected. He knelt, hands folded, eyes closed, and he whispered, Jesus, please help Taylor. Show her you're real. Let her rest. Elon stood frozen. The breeze stopped. The air felt thicker. He'd seen rockets fly, AI awaken, machines learn. But this felt like a different kind of power. Elon couldn't sleep. He kept replaying X's words in his mind. Taylor's praying too. But why her? That question spun in his head all night. The next morning, his assistant stormed in. You're not going to believe this, she said. Taylor Swift's team just reached out. She wants to speak. To you. What? Elon replied, stunned. They hadn't spoken in years. The timing, it was unreal. Or divine. His mind couldn't catch up to what his soul was feeling. He picked up the phone, heart racing. The line clicked. Elon. Her voice was calm but cracked. Do you believe in prayer? It was like X had opened a spiritual portal. Taylor's voice trembled. Something's been chasing me lately. A shadow. But your son. His name came in my dream. Elon's hands trembled. You dreamed about my son? Taylor exhaled. He was holding a candle. He said, Jesus hears you, Taylor. I woke up crying. Elon had no words. Just silence. The weight of something bigger than fame, bigger than logic, was sinking into both of them. This wasn't coincidence. Can I talk to him? She asked gently. Elon paused. Yes, of course. He handed X the phone, unsure of what would come next. Hi, Taylor, X said. His voice was small but steady. Jesus said you're special, and that your songs are like prayers. You don't need to hide. Taylor broke down. Thank you, she whispered. That single moment between a pop icon and a 5-year-old boy would ripple through millions of hearts and days to come 3 days later. She came in person. No paparazzi, no entourage, just her and a small leather Bible in her bag. She looked humbled. Elon had seen confidence in many forms. But Taylor's expression was different, soft, searching. X ran up and hugged her like they were old friends. She kneeled beside him. I used to pray every night, she said. But the more famous I got, the quieter God seemed. X nodded. That's because the noise got louder. But Jesus never left. He was waiting for you to whisper back. Elon watched, awestruck. He'd been in meetings with presidents, CEOs, geniuses. But this room, this simple exchange, felt holier than any church. Taylor wiped a tear. Do you think I can still go back to him? X smiled. He never asked you to leave. Just follow. Then, without instruction, X began singing softly. A tune Taylor didn't recognize, but one that brought her to tears. Where did you learn that? She asked. Jesus sang it in my dream. X said. He said it's your song. You haven't written it yet, but it's in your heart. She covered her mouth, overwhelmed. That melody, it's been in my head for weeks. I thought I was going crazy. Elon sat down, speechless. Taylor placed her hand over her chest. Then it's time I stopped running, she said. That moment would become the foundation for a song the world would soon hear. Taylor invited X to her studio. Elon was hesitant, but X insisted. Jesus said this one's not for charts. It's for broken hearts. She sat at the piano, unsure. Where to begin? What's it about? She asked X. Light in the silence, he whispered. And a door never closed. She played a single note, then another. The melody flowed like water from a place she hadn't visited in years, her spirit. X started humming the tune he'd heard in his dream. Taylor followed it, line by line, word by word. No studio magic, just real worship. Elon watched from the corner, stunned. She wasn't performing. She was surrendering. The song wasn't about fame. It was about faith rediscovered. The lyrics wrote themselves. I ran from you in lights and stages, but you never dimmed. You waited where the silence begins. They recorded in one take. No edits. The sound engineer stood in silence, tears in his eyes. I've never felt this in a studio, he said. Taylor turned to X. You're the reason this song exists. He simply smiled. No, Jesus is. I'm just the echo. The song was titled, The Whisper in the Garden. A direct nod to the moment X first heard the call. Within hours of uploading it, it went viral. But not because it was catchy. People said listening to it felt like being healed. Not everyone celebrated. Comments flooded in. Some called it a PR stunt. Others mocked the idea of a pop star. Praying with Elon's son. Taylor was shaken. Maybe I shouldn't have released it, she said. Maybe this was a mistake. But X shook his head. Truth always gets loud reactions. You didn't sing for applause, he reminded her. You sang to break chains. Elon nodded. He had doubted too. But something deeper kept him grounded now. Then came the unexpected. A nurse from Ohio messaged Taylor. I was about to give up. Your song played in the ICU. It brought peace. More stories followed. A teen out of rehab. A widower finding hope. A pastor who found his sermon. The Whisper in the Garden wasn't just a song, it was balm. Taylor posted one comment to her story. Not everyone will believe your miracle, but the ones meant to feel it, they'll never forget it. X wasn't fazed. Jesus said the seed lands where hearts are ready. We don't choose the ground. We just throw the light. Taylor smiled, tears returning. I never thought the biggest moment of my career would feel nothing like success. It feels more like surrender. And Elon, for the first time in years, he knelt beside his son that night. Not for answers, but to finally say, thank you. Because sometimes the loudest sermon is a whisper from a child. And the brightest stage is a garden where faith was quietly reborn. Dinner was quiet. Not awkward, holy. Taylor sat beside X, still processing the wave of peace she'd felt in the studio. Elon simply watched in awe. They didn't talk about music, or business, or fame. They shared stories of doubt, hope, childhood, and the moments they first felt God speak. Taylor looked at X. Why me? She asked. Why would Jesus use someone like me? X replied, because people already listen. When you sing, now they'll listen deeper. Elon broke the silence. I've built rockets, cities, and cyberspace. But tonight, I feel like I've touched something more powerful than Mars, truth. Taylor's eyes filled. You know, I've written hundreds of songs. But only now do I realize none of them really prayed. She looked down. Until now. X smiled. That's okay. God uses every note, even the broken ones. His words didn't sound 5 years old. They sounded eternal. They ate slowly. No phones. No noise. Just grace. The moment didn't need to be captured, it needed to be remembered. Taylor closed her eyes. I want to start over, she said. New path. New purpose. Elon nodded. Then tonight is your first step. They ended dinner with prayer. Not scripted. Not polished. just raw thankfulness, and a table that felt more like an altar than a meal. Outside, the paparazzi waited. But inside, Taylor whispered, "Let them talk. I've already heard the only voice that matters." X smiled. "Amen." After dinner, X asked Taylor if she wanted to walk. No cameras, no shoes, just silence and moonlight. She said yes without hesitation. The path was lit with tiny garden lights. X walked ahead, humming softly. Taylor followed, wondering how a child could carry such divine peace. "I used to write about love like it was everything," Taylor said. "But I didn't know the source. I was chasing echoes." X stopped. "Jesus isn't the echo. He's the voice. You were just listening from far away." She stood frozen. Those words unlocked something she'd buried. Not trauma, truth. All the fame, applause, heartbreak. It had been noise hiding the real melody. They sat on a garden bench. X looked up. "You know the stars were singing before we ever existed?" Taylor laughed gently. "What are they singing now?" X smiled. "They're singing, 'Welcome Back.'" Taylor couldn't stop. Crying. Not sad tears. Cleansing ones. Like her soul was being wrung dry and refilled. Elon watched from the porch, arms crossed. He had witnessed tech change the world. But now, he was witnessing God change a heart. Taylor turned to X. "If I follow Jesus now, what happens next?" He answered like it was simple. "He'll write your next lyrics." That night, Taylor didn't just walk under the stars. She walked into faith, and the world would soon hear the song born from that night. The next Sunday, Taylor went to church. Not for PR, not for fans, for faith. It was her first time in over a decade. She wore no makeup, no glam, just peace. Elon brought X. No press, no paparazzi, just three souls walking into something holy. The pastor didn't recognize her at first. When he did, he smiled softly and said, "We've been praying for revival. I think you just brought it." They sat in the second row. Taylor closed her eyes during the music, not to sing, but to listen, to finally listen. X leaned over. "Jesus loves when you sing to him, not the crowd." Taylor nodded, tears rolling down. "Then I'll never sing for the crowd again." During the sermon, the pastor paused. "Someone here feels unworthy. But God says, you are not your past. You're my promise." Taylor gasped. It hit deep. Elon looked over. For a moment, he didn't see the superstar. He saw a daughter of God remembering who she really was. After service, Taylor asked to speak to the choir. She said, "I don't want a headline anymore. I want to harmonize with heaven." The choir director simply said, "You just did." The church erupted in praise. Taylor laughed through her tears. Something in her had truly resurrected. That photo of her standing outside the chapel would go viral. But not because she was famous, because she looked finally, fully free. Taylor asked to be baptized. Not in secret, but not on a stage either. She wanted it in nature. Simple, sacred, unforgettable. They found a quiet stream outside Los Angeles. No headlines. Just water, sunrise, and worship. Elon and X stood watching with hands folded. As she stepped into the water, Taylor felt nervous. But X called out, "Jesus is smiling." That one sentence gave her peace. The pastor asked, "Why do you want to be baptized?" She whispered, "Because I finally know who I belong to." As she went under, time felt suspended. And when she rose, her tears mixed with the water. "It's done," she said. "The old me is gone." Elon looked stunned. "She looks brighter." X nodded. "She's carrying less now." Even the birds seemed to sing louder as the water rippled. She knelt at the riverbank. "Lord, take my talent and make it truth. I'll never use my voice for anything less than you." That video clip, just 12 seconds, was posted by a fan who stumbled upon the scene. Within hours, it had 100 million views. The caption read, "Taylor Swift found the real light." And comments poured in. "This is bigger than music. This is real revival." Taylor didn't post about it. She didn't need to. When grace touches you like that, your silence speaks louder than any song that at her next show. Taylor paused mid-set. The crowd was screaming, lights flashing, but she felt something shift inside her. She walked to center stage, unplugged the mic, and whispered, "This next part isn't a performance. It's a confession." Then she spoke about X, about the garden, about Jesus, about being found. The crowd went dead silent. You could hear hearts pounding. People expected hits. What they got was healing. "I was drowning in applause," she said, "but I'd never felt heard until I prayed." She knelt, right there, on stage. No song, no lights, just surrender. And one by one, the stadium followed. Phones stopped recording. Hands went up. Tears fell. She didn't call it an altar call, but heaven knew exactly what it was. Later, Elon texted her, "You just turned a concert into a cathedral." She replied, "It wasn't me. I just made space." That night, thousands gave their lives to Christ. Not because Taylor preached, but because she humbled herself. X watched the live stream at home. He smiled and whispered, "That's the song Jesus wanted all along." And in that moment, Taylor's career didn't just peak, it was redeemed. And the world witnessed a superstar become a servant. Taylor sat down for her first interview since the baptism. The cameras rolled, but this time, she wasn't promoting an album. She was sharing her heart. "People know my music, but now I want them to know my story," she said quietly, her voice steady but filled with raw emotion. She told the interviewer about X's prayer and how it shook her foundation, forcing her rethink what truly mattered beyond fame and fortune. "It wasn't a marketing strategy," she explained. "It was a spiritual awakening. Suddenly, every lyric I'd written felt like a shadow of what was real." Elon watched backstage, silent but proud. He knew this was the real Taylor, the one who had been waiting for God's light to break through. Taylor's eyes glistened as she revealed her fear of vulnerability. "I worried I'd lose fans, but I realized God's love is the only thing worth risking." The interview aired worldwide. Millions tuned in, and social media exploded. People moved by a superstar willing to be transparent and imperfect. Comments poured in, "This changes everything. A new chapter begins. Faith over fame." Finally, Taylor wasn't just a singer anymore. She was a witness. The night ended with a tweet from Taylor. "For the first time, I'm singing. For something bigger than applause. I'm singing for grace." And in the quiet of her room, she whispered a prayer. "Thank you, Jesus, for turning my silence into a song." Back in her studio, Taylor faced a blank page and an open heart. This was her first songwriting session post-awakening, and everything had changed. Instead of chasing hits, she chased truth. Each chord carried a prayer, every lyric a testimony of healing and hope. X sat nearby, watching quietly. Occasionally, he hummed softly, as if joining the divine chorus Taylor had only just discovered. Elon peeked in, amazed. "You've found a new voice," he said. Taylor smiled. "No, I found the real one I'd lost." Hours passed, but it felt like minutes. Taylor's fingers danced on strings, and her soul poured through every note like never before. Her music became a bridge between her past and her faith, between fame and humility, between herself and millions searching for hope. "I'm not writing to be heard," Taylor said. "I'm writing to heal, to lift, to invite others into the light." The first song was raw, vulnerable, and unlike anything she'd ever released. It wasn't perfect, but it was pure. When she played it for Elon and X, the room filled with tears. Not sadness, but a sacred joy that words couldn't capture. That night, Taylor prayed, "Let this song be a beacon. Let it guide those lost in the noise to find their way home." Taylor posted her first social media update since her transformation, a simple message about faith, hope, and new beginnings. Her words weren't polished or rehearsed. They were raw, honest, and unfiltered, like a letter from the heart to the world. Within minutes, thousands of comments flooded in. Fans, Critics, strangers, all captivated by her courage to be real. Some criticized, some doubted, but most felt seen. They resonated with the struggle, the surrender, and the hope shining through her words. Elon noticed the shift. His timeline filled with people sharing stories of personal faith inspired by Taylor's vulnerability. X watched as the world reacted. Faith spreads faster than a tweet, he said with a smile far older than his years. Taylor replied to some comments personally, offering encouragement, sharing her journey, and reminding others that grace is bigger than mistakes. The media tried to spin it, but Taylor stayed steady. She wasn't here for headlines. She was here to shine a light on truth. This post sparked a movement, one that wouldn't be measured in followers, but in lives touched and hearts renewed. And as the sun rose, Taylor whispered, "This is only the beginning. The real story starts." Now, Taylor received an unexpected invitation to speak at a global faith conference, not to perform, but to share her journey in person. She hesitated. The idea of standing before thousands, sharing her raw truth, terrified her. But deep down, she knew it was her calling. Elon encouraged her. "You've inspired millions already. This is your moment to turn inspiration into transformation." X held her hand as she stepped onto the stage, spotlight warming her skin, the audience silent and expectant. Taylor took a deep breath. "I was lost," she said, "but a child's prayer brought me back to life." She told the story of the garden, the secret Jesus shared with X, and the peace that changed her forever. The audience listened, some crying, some nodding, all captivated. This wasn't just a speech, it was a revival. Taylor closed with a simple message. No matter how far you wander, grace is always waiting. You just have to come home. The standing ovation lasted minutes. Cameras flashed, but Taylor's eyes were fixed on the back of the room, on the child who started it all. Backstage, Elon hugged her. "You're not just a star anymore," he whispered. "You're a light." Taylor's story wasn't just a personal journey. It became a global movement. Messages of hope poured in from every continent. People shared how Taylor's transformation inspired them to seek faith, forgiveness, and a fresh start in their own lives. Social media trends carried hashtags like #GraceWithTaylor and #FaithOverFame, sparking conversations in homes, schools, and churches worldwide. Elon marveled at the ripple effect. A child's prayer ignited a revolution, he told X, who knew faith was the greatest technology. Taylor's music began to reflect the change. New albums featured themes of redemption, healing, and hope, resonating deeper than ever before. TV shows and podcasts invited Taylor to share her story, but she remained grounded, always pointing back to the prayer that started it all. X's quiet presence remained her anchor. "Whenever I'm afraid," she said, "I remember his faith, pure and unshakable." The world watched as a superstar turned servant, choosing purpose over popularity, light over spotlight. Millions sent letters, gifts, and prayers, thankful for the courage Taylor showed in making faith her headline. And in quiet moments, Taylor prayed, "May this be the legacy that outlasts every chart and award, a legacy of grace." Taylor's new music video dropped, unlike anything the world had seen, raw, spiritual, and deeply personal, depicting her journey from darkness into light. The opening scene showed a child praying in a quiet garden, an unmistakable nod to X's prayer that had sparked it all. Scenes alternated between despair and hope, fame and faith, and finally, a luminous ending where Taylor embraced a glowing cross in the night. Fans flooded social media, stunned by the vulnerability and the bold message that faith was bigger than fame or fortune. Critics were divided. Some called it genius, others controversial. But Taylor didn't care. She was telling the truth she lived. Elon sent a private message. "This is revolutionary. You didn't just make art, you made a movement." The video sparked millions of shares and conversations worldwide. Churches streamed it, youth groups discussed it, skeptics paused to reflect. Taylor revealed that the video was her prayer in motion, a declaration of what X's simple faith had unlocked inside her. Late that night, she whispered in prayer, "Let this light never dim, even in the darkest storms." And as the world watched, a new generation found courage to speak their own faith stories. Inspired by her bold leap, Taylor was invited to a private gathering of faith leaders from across the globe, an unprecedented honor and unexpected step in her journey. The room was filled with pastors, rabbis, imams, and spiritual guides, all eager to hear how a pop star found faith through a child's prayer. Taylor shared her story openly, from her struggles with fame to the moment X's prayer broke through. Her skepticism. The leaders responded with encouragement and wisdom, reminding her that faith knows no boundaries or borders, only open hearts. One elder said, "Your story is a beacon to the lost. Keep shining it bright and wide." Taylor felt a profound sense of belonging. Her music and message transcended entertainment. It was now spiritual ministry. They prayed together, a circle of faith woven from different traditions, but united by shared hope. Elon watched from the sidelines, amazed at how his son's simple faith had opened doors no one imagined. Taylor left the meeting inspired and determined to keep walking this path, no matter how unconventional it seemed. She whispered, "This is bigger than me. It's a movement for every soul searching for truth." Taylor sat down and wrote a letter to X, the boy whose innocent faith had changed her life forever. She told him how his prayer was a spark that ignited a fire of hope in her heart and millions of others. The letter was simple but heartfelt, expressing gratitude and promising to honor the gift he had given her through faith. Taylor included a drawing of stars and a heart, symbols of light and love she now carried everywhere. Elon read the letter and smiled, proud that his son's faith was inspiring such profound impact beyond their family. X kept the letter by his bedside, a daily reminder that even the smallest voices can move mountains. Taylor's letter was later shared on social media, touching hearts worldwide and inspiring people to reach out with kindness. "It's incredible," a fan commented, "how a child's prayer can change the course of a superstar's life." Taylor's letter became a symbol of hope, that faith, no matter how young or small, holds unstoppable power. And every night, X prayed with a smile, knowing his simple words were changing the world. That a documentary crew followed Taylor and X, capturing their spiritual journey for the first time on film. The cameras caught intimate moments, prayers whispered, in quiet rooms, conversations about faith, and the simple joy of newfound peace. Taylor allowed herself to be vulnerable on camera, sharing her doubts and fears alongside her triumphs. X's innocence and unwavering faith became the heart of the film, a reminder of the purest form of belief. The documentary revealed how a child's prayer had sparked a transformation that no fame or fortune could buy. Viewers saw Taylor's music evolve into worship, her life centered around grace, forgiveness, and purpose. Critics called it a bold and beautiful testament to the power of faith in the modern world. The film premiered worldwide, drawing millions and sparking renewed conversations about spirituality and pop culture. Elon watched with tears in his eyes, knowing this story was bigger than technology or innovation. It was about the soul. As the credits rolled, a simple message appeared: faith changes everything. Sometimes it starts with a whisper. Taylor and X stepped onto the stage at a global celebration of faith, their journey now a beacon for millions. The crowd roared not for a pop star, but for a messenger of grace, humility, and unwavering faith. Taylor spoke of her transformation, reminding everyone that no one is beyond redemption, no story too broken for hope. X stood beside her, a quiet reminder that faith begins in the heart of a child, simple and pure. Together, they lit a candle, symbolizing the light of grace spreading across the world, igniting countless hearts. Elon watched from the wings, his heart full. This is the future, he thought, where faith and innovation walk hand in hand. The event closed with a song, Taylor's new anthem of hope, faith, and love, echoing through the night. Messages flooded in from around the globe, people sharing how their lives were changed, how they found faith through Taylor and X. Taylor whispered a prayer of thanks. May this legacy outshine every stage and chart. May it live forever in hearts. And as the crowd dispersed, a single truth remained. Faith is the greatest legacy of all, and it starts with a whisper. What did you think of this incredible journey of Elon Musk's son X praying for Taylor Swift and the powerful transformation that followed? Where are you watching this video from? We'd love to hear your thoughts and location in the comments below. Please consider subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and sharing it with others to spread the inspiration. Thank you.